This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and what is, relatively speaking, skinny, light, but plays games like nobody's business. It's the Origin PC EVO15-S. Now, Origin's a company that was started by the ex-Alienware folks. Was Dell bought Alienware long ago. They were a boutique company, so they've been doing laptops made in America for quite some time, based usually these days on Clevo chassis. This is a Clevo P955HR chassis, but they put some real nice special sauce in here. US-based support 24.7, lifetime support, all that sort of nice things. That it's kind of nice because gaming laptops are a little bit more temperamental than average. You might think of them mostly for making those giant desktop replacement laptops with desktop CPUs that outperform most things on the planet, but they do something like this, which competes with the likes of, like, say, the MSI Stealth Pro, the Acer Predator Triton 700, but actually more affordably, and there's a lot of appeal here. We're going to look at it now. So why would you buy something like this? Well, obviously you need power on the road. People who are just using a gaming laptop at home generally don't care about how thin and light they are. And what's attractive about this versus the competition is not just the price, which is a bit more reasonable considering a lot of these slim and light Max-Q laptops are very expensive, but the fact that you get plenty of ports on here, nice thing, but it has NVIDIA Optimus, it has switchable graphics. It really surprises me sometimes when you see these thin and light, relatively speaking, gaming laptops that don't have switchable graphics. It's nice to have G-Sync, sure, but when that precludes having switchable graphics for something that you need to take with you, well, duh. So this way we can use Intel HD 630 graphics when you're not doing something very demanding. So say you're taking this on the road, you actually need to do productivity work, you're streaming a video, whatever it is, so you're going to get better battery life. In fact, they claim up to 5 hours of battery life, which is a lot better than something like the Asus ROG Zephyrus, which is a nifty Max-Q laptop that goes for about 2 hours on the charge. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So yes, this is an NVIDIA GTX 1070 Max-Q graphics card. That's a 1070 card basically with about 10% less performance than a regular 1070, but a lot less heat and more thermal tuning going on, and also less noise, generally speaking. It's one of NVIDIA's requirements. Those are things that I find pretty useful. I know some of you are really Max-Q snobs and you just will say no to it, but I'll give up 10%. Sometimes it's only like 7% for those benefits, certainly if it's a laptop that I want to take with me, use on the road, not derange people with noise around me. It's also available for $188 less with an NVIDIA GTX 1060 card, standard 1060 card. I don't know, 1070 really, even the Max-Q really outperforms that 1060. I would kind of go for it. So the price for our fairly well-configured model, no matter what, you're going to get a Core i7-7700 HQ quad-core 45-watt processor in here, is around $2,000, $2,028. You could go down to around $1,700 or a bit less, depending on what you want for a configuration. Ours has 16 gigs of RAM. You can go up to 32. There are 2 RAM slots. You can get it with G.Skill, Fancy Pants RAM, or you can get it with more mundane, everyday kind of DDR4 RAM inside. It has one M.2 SSD slot, and it has one 2.5-inch drive base. So you can go for anything from a SATA 3 M.2 SSD if you want to save money, say the EVO line of M.2 SSDs, or you can go up to the Samsung 960 Pro, which is what's in ours, spending a little bit more money again for that $2,000 price tag. You can get it with a 1 terabyte hybrid drive, a hard drive with a cache on it, which is a nice kind of price to performance ratio decision there. And you can get it with a SSD, a Samsung EVO850 2.5-inch SSD. You get the idea. All sorts of possibilities there. So with ours, we have the 960 Pro SSD in here. We do have the standard hybrid hard drive inside. And we have the full HD 120 Hz TN fast refresh panel inside here. It's matte, it's non-touch. All the options are, you can also get it with 4K. And then there is the standard refresh, 60 hertz panel, I believe is IPS. Now on their website, they say that that's an IPS panel, that 120 hertz panel. We have it, believe me, it's not. You can tell from the viewing angles. It's an okay panel. It's not stupendous, certainly at all when it comes to viewing angles. I have seen worse. I certainly have seen better, like MSI's high-end TN panels, but it's decent enough. It's okay. So if you really want that fast refresh rate for faster frame rates, V-Sync, obviously not G-Sync in this case. I don't feel like you need G-Sync so much here because you've got a lot of horsepower and performance here, so it's not like the game's going to be struggling to keep up a good frame rate here anyway. V-Sync is sufficient for that sort of thing. Ports on this are plentiful. On this Clevo-based chassis here, you've got 2 display ports. You have 2 USB-C Gen 2 ports, not Thunderbolt 3 though. That is kind of a little bit of a bummer there. You got RJ45 Ethernet, which is something you don't always see on these thin and light models. There's even a daughter card, and this comes from the Clevo chassis for LTE though. It's not enabled here, but there is a half-height M.2 slot, so you could actually put a card in, and there is a wire lead in there, so it might actually work if you wanted to put in an LTE modem. You got HDMI 2.0 supporting copy protection out, so that's pretty handy and modern. An SD card slot, you get the idea. 2 megapixel webcam for your beautiful Twitch experience when you're streaming to your friends. Fingerprint scanner is embedded in the Synaptics trackpad. It's a decent trackpad. It got 2 dedicated buttons, kind of on the soft touch side. It works okay. It's a passable, decent trackpad. The keyboard is a zone backlit. There are 3 zones with 2.5 millimeter travel. It's got a nice travel on for a thin laptop. Honestly, I like the feel of it. It's a lot like an MSI keyboard, and damping is very nice on it. It's an enjoyable keyboard to type on. Of course, you get the number pad on this model as well. Sound, you have 2 stereo speakers here, and like a lot of these thin and light gaming laptops, it sounds pretty anemic and pretty thin. There's a bunch of different sound card options that you can go with, so you can have better headphone audio if you've got an external speaker system, 5.1, 7.1, whatever. Then that audio quality is going to sound a whole lot better than the built-in speakers here. Wi-Fi is Intel 8265 AC, so for those of you who are Intel Wi-Fi fans, overkill, you'll be happy to hear that. Now, how about cooling? I mean, take a look at this chassis. There are just vents everywhere, right? On the sides, on the back, on the bottom. It's a 3-fan design, and part of NVIDIA's requirement for Max-Q is that the cooling really is primo, but not too loud. And indeed, it isn't that loud as gaming laptops go. It is not screeching, it's not annoying, it's not going to fill the room with noise. Surface temperatures can get pretty hot though. If you're playing more demanding games like, say, Fallout 4 or Mass Effect Andromeda, which I always use as a benchmark of a hard game on the computer. Maybe not the best game ever written, granted, but it's a pretty challenging game for the computer. Surface temperatures will get pretty hot. They will go above human body temperature, and you can see some FLIR shots there that show you the temperatures. For those of you who don't speak centigrade, that's about up to 115, 120 degrees Fahrenheit on the hot spots on the computer. So this is not something that you want to put on your lap when you're gaming. If you're just doing normal things like Word, Excel, watching video, that sort of thing, it does not get hot. You won't even hear the fans coming on. It's so quiet. If you're processing video, in fact, unless you're exporting 4K video, then you'll hear the fans come on some. It's still not going to get that hot. You really have to push it with today's most demanding games. As you can see, the CPU temperatures and the GPU temperatures, usually the GPU temperatures are not an issue. It's the CPU. CPU temperatures are actually respectable for something that's this thin and light. Pushing it as hard as we could, we got to 85 centigrade for the CPU temperatures, for the core temperatures, and pushing it with less demanding games, I mean something like, say, BioShock Infinite, then you'll see the CPU cores being at like 55 or 60, that's all. Now, like I said, you can order this from Origin PC with any combination of types of RAM, SSDs, HDDs that you want, but still, just in case you want to open up, it's really easy to open up this chassis. Little Phillips head screwdriver, little Phillips head screws. That's all there is. Give it a yank from the back. It's not really difficult. This is a metal bottom. How refreshing. How nice. And there we have the internals. So you can see the cooling design here. We've got one main fan for the CPU right there. We got the dual fans for the GPU going on over there with the heatsink. They have some heatsink paste options, mostly Gelid Extreme, I believe, that are available here. Here's our battery. It's 55 watt-hour, which is kind of more like one of the larger ultrabook capacity batteries, but hey, it's better than some of the thin and light gaming laptops in terms of capacity. And again, that NVIDIA Optimus helps since you can run on integrated graphics. We have our 2 RAM slots here. They have upgraded with Ripjaws RAM. M.2 SSD slot right there, a single one. Here's our Wi-Fi card right there. This is our hard drive bay / 2.5-inch SSD if you prefer to roll that way. And when I was talking about LTE, so you can notice right here, this is a SIM card carrier actually over here. This is the antenna wire over here, and here's the slot where you would put in that little half-height card. Now, whether that actually is all set up together in BIOS to work, I don't know. That's something that Clevo does with the chassis, makes it available for that option. So there you have it. Very compact, very clean, very nice, very easy to service, right down to if you want to repaste your CPU and GPU afterwards. It's pretty easy and clear how you would do that. And honestly, it's pretty impressive. You've got the horsepower of an Alienware 17 R4 here with a i7-7700 HQ and a GTX 1070 Max-Q, but in a much thinner package, and it doesn't run any hotter, honestly. So that's the slim and light Origin PC EVO15-S. And you know, there's a lot to like here. I know some of you are real Max-Q snobs. You just don't like Max-Q. Well, I have to say that I do. There's a purpose to this. The fact that this runs, relatively speaking, as cool as it does, and with such high performance in terms of frame rates in games and even on benchmarks, given how thin and light it is, it really is just impressive. It's a pretty clean looking machine. It has ports and ports and more ports. No Thunderbolt 3, but we got everything else on board here. And the price, like I said, is pretty good. It's very competitive against anything that MSI, Asus, or Acer are throwing out for the Max-Q set. Also, I'm happy to see NVIDIA Optimus here, switchable graphics, because one of the reasons you buy a thin and light laptop is probably because you actually want to take it with you and do things with it on the road, right? And you don't want it to die after 2 hours. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cool tech videos, and thumbs up if you like this vid.